Hi, and welcome back to the channel. The Witcher. It's been a little while. It's been about like 2 years since the first season came out, or at least when we started reacting to it. I think it was like the start of January. My hair at the time was definitely way shorter than what it is right now. And yeah, of course, a lot of stuff have been happening since. But it's gonna be good to get back into the world of The Witcher, of Geralt. Even though I would also argue that we never really left it, because of course you're still reading the books and
No, I've read them.
oh, you read the book. You're rereading some of them, and still playing The Witcher 3 on occasion, I would say as well. And if anyone is new here to the channel as well, we are going to compare most likely what is going on in the series to the books. Mostly you are going to compare it because I've just read some of the short stories. I do believe I've read this one, A Grain of Truth, at some point. I'm pretty sure I remember that one. We're gonna save it for the discussion though. Like we're not gonna start comparing like in the middle of the episode, in the middle of the reaction. But if you don't want to hear any of that, then we're probably not the reaction channel for you. But don't worry, like we're not gonna spoil anything that's coming up. But we probably can't help but compare what we've seen and what was happening maybe in the first season to what we've read. And that's just the way it is. It's impossible not to, as I just said. And do we have any other like disclaimers before we start?
I have a standard cat disclaimer.
Oh yes, of course.
I'm insanely tired. I've been working a lot and I've been sleeping not so lot. And that means I'm very tired because we have to do it right now. It's Friday evening and it's like I think it's about 25 minutes to my bedtime. So if I'm starting to cut some bunnies, that's
cut some bunnies.
Yeah, that's a Danish expression. Yeah.
Yeah. Falling asleep, you're going like this.
Yeah. It's simply not because I find it boring or anything. It's simply because I'm so tired I can't keep my eyes open.
Yes, exactly. And it's just December is a really, really busy month. Just on top of what else is going on in the world, in our lives, there's just so much to watch and react to in December. It seems like everything is dropping here. Like The Expanse season 6 now, The Witcher season 2. We got the Book of Boba Fett coming up. We're still doing Attack on Titan and like trying to fit that all into our schedule. It also means that we're not going to be able to get these reactions out very quickly, or at least the series dropped today when we're watching it Friday, but this one is most likely not gonna drop on YouTube until Saturday at the earliest. And speaking of Witcher reactions, some of you might also have watched our season 1 reactions, and if you've tried to watch them recently, you would know that like half of them got blocked and I had to move the reaction to Vimeo. And then like the other half, they got copyright claimed. So I'm probably also going to be a bit more rough with the editing in this season. And I'm going to cut a lot of stuff out. So if you want to watch the full length reaction, then you can of course always do that over on Patreon instead, where you can sync it up with your own copy of the episode.
That means you sync it up with your own copy, so you watch it along with us. We won't have the little screen on.
Oh yeah.
Just in case that it's new to you. Yeah.
If there's any misunderstandings, because
Anywho,
I think that's enough talking for this one. Are you ready to jump into it?
Yes.
All right, let's do it. The Witcher season 2, episode 1, A Grain of Truth. Here we go. Hello? Well, I think I might already know where we are.
Maybe depends on who's gonna answer the door.
What?
Wow. Yeah, it's gonna help screaming. Wow.
Well, that's fucking bloody.
Very reminiscent of Nightmare of the Wolf, like the start there.
Ah, true, yeah. Oh yeah, we watched that on our own. Might talk about it a little bit in the discussion. Well, and yeah, season 1 ended with a big
and
fuck
Battle
off
on
battle.
Sudden Hill.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Seeing like the last things that he saw.
Sure.
Oh, trying to find Yennefer. That's some way to go out. That's why his face is looking like that.
Yeah.
She's gone.
Wilgefortz, right?
Yeah.
Yennefer. Yennefer.
Aw.
Yennefer!
Where is she?
And who are you to her exactly?
Is she alive?
It's complicated.
Was it worth it?
Good Roach.
Yes.
Yennefer.
She's gone now.
A very red roach, though.
Hmm.
I sleep like shit too.
You don't sleep at all.
Makes a few nightmares. Except for the one about the rock troll.
Hmm?
Overly friendly.
Trollolololo.
That's the trollololo. Dunno.
Her eyes are a bit more green in this season, aren't they?
It's been like 5 minutes.
What about Skellig? I have people there too. I'd be safe there.
If you want. But you be married off to the nearest lord of bad breath.
Triss, stay with us.
Oh, Triss.
Stay with us.
I mean, she got burned
Yeah.
badly.
The kings have their blood up. They want to chase Nilfgaard south.
Perhaps we should, since you would have us be warriors in the field instead of advisors in the palace.
No one's been able to break him.
He will give us everything we need, if I can have time with him.
We have rules.
She wasn't asking your permission.
There she is.
She's alive. Sounded disappointed. Was
And she's with. Yep.
Fringilla.
What's left of the Nilfgaardians?
So, what exactly is Kaer Morhen?
It's where witches go during the winter.
How come I've never heard of it?
Because we like it that way.
Time to investigate.
Mm-hmm.
Easy.
Hmm.
It's called Axie. It's a calming sign.
Okay.
Sure.
There are no guards.
Maybe they're hiding from the storm.
Quiet. I know somewhere nearby. An old friend.
An old friend. Oh,
Oh, there he is.
hey!
Geralt!
Nebelin?
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing here, you old horse, huh? Put away your knife and come in out of the cold, Witcher. I'll tell you everything.
Pretty good effects going on there with his face.
He's holding the tusk like,
Yeah.
Buff!
wow.
You can bathe in the next room. You reek of old horse.
Part of my charm.
You always were a horse's ass anyway.
I forget his last name, but his first name is Christopher, and well, of course, he was in Game of Thrones. Tormund. Well, that's unnerving.
Mm-hmm.
Just like that, she's dry. Oh, well, almost.
Very unnerving.
Roast venison, safe shuffles, sweet wine, and lots of it. Witch's quail.
That's a good one.
I jest. Mountain pheasant for my friend.
Which is quail, so pig feet.
I trashed the temple of the lion-headed spider, high on godflesh mushrooms.
All the mushrooms in the world wouldn't make anyone that stupid.
If only it was so. This priestess cursed me to live like this forever, alone.
All curses have cures. What does she say?
She screamed something about love and blood. I've tried to end it, Geralt, but I kept coming back.
The village below was abandoned. What happened there?
After the Battle of Sodden, the countryside is a dangerous place.
It's not reason enough for an entire village to leave their homes.
It is when the Wild Hunt's riding over the horizon.
Oh, the Wild Hunt.
Maybe it's the end of days.
I've lived through a whole dark age and 3 supposed end of days. It's all horseshit.
No, something has changed, Geralt.
Nivellen, do you have a cat?
I'm very glad of her company, even if she's a shy wee thing.
Didn't you say you were cursed to live alone?
How about the show?
How about we scout the property? Make sure it's secure for the night.
Go on, Geralt.
Yeah, we all know he ain't telling the truth. Wow. He's a bit fucked up.
Do what you will. The white flame will cleanse us all.
But you have taken someone from me. So now I will take your knowledge. I will plow it somewhat deeper. And then you will know what a scream can really be!
Those fingers are like buried inside of his fucking head. I feel almost bad for him.
You know I won't turn. You also know the Brotherhood won't negotiate.
They won't want you back. You've broken their sacred law. You've tapped into fire magic.
At Tissaya's behest. I'll be lauded for saving them.
I'm sure they'll be most understanding. All leaders are.
Difficult to say how. To say I would want her back, but some of the others.
At least conjure me up some decent food before we get to Shitguard.
Fucking sassy.
It's as if she's determined to do the opposite of the thing that'll keep us safe. Looks like you're in good company.
You remind me of an old friend, Malsak. I wish I could go back in time and save him. Save everyone.
Can I come with you? I have a few things I should like to change myself.
No, you do?
It's what eats you alive. Loneliness.
Have you ever tried to cure yourself?
Oh, I've tried many a lass with treasure to kiss me, hoping there was a grain of truth to those fairy tales.
Grain of truth.
I deserve my destiny. Come. I'm being a bore, and you must be tired.
Pun intended.
Haha.
You don't seem like a monster to me.
Monsters are born of deeds done. Unforgivable ones. Good night.
He's doing a really good job in that role, actually. Geralt is just staying with Roach.
Stay on the lookout.
Dude. Footsteps. Footprints.
Feet.
Feet. In Dutch snow.
Let's play a drinking game.
Oh, now we're talking. What sort?
Truth or dare.
We throw daggers.
Oh, okay.
Whoever misses your dear father's head drinks and tells the truth.
There we go. Something with truths, at least.
Perhaps that's why the Law of Surprise brought us together.
Or that devious old chestnut. The plot thickens, huh? What changed you?
Yennefer of Vengerberg.
And where is this rarest and fairest of all maidens?
She's dead.
I'm sorry, my boy. How long ago?
A few days.
How are you not heartbroken?
I am.
Who says I'm not?
The look of a man who's worried he's lost his touch.
Yeah,
Nope.
he was just.
The look of a man who's wondering why his old friend is cheating.
You got me there. Magic knives.
Of course.
That's why he touched the.
I need to drain the snake and hit the silk.
What a way to put it. Should have told Geralt the truth.
Very evasive here.
Mm-hmm. Not at all suspicious. Oh, fuck, that's scary. Nope. What are we watching? The Exorcist now? Those movements. Oh yeah. Can you taste what Ciri is?
I don't know.
Did you like the dress I left for you?
Oh, she left the dress.
Are you? I'm different. I'm not you.
Not a cat, at least.
But I am like you. Are you a monster? Are you a monster because you are different? Monsters do bad things to people. Humans do bad things to everybody.
Bingo.
Not wrong
Bullseye.
about that. No, yeah, bullseye.
This must be our secret. Until you leave.
Yeah, nah. Carol's gonna find out.
It flies.
Yep.
Roaches by the gate. If anyone other than me leaves this place, ride for your life.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't want to say it out loud.
No. I know. Same. Oh.
Excuse me, what?
She was feeding on him.
Yeah. Fucking Broxa. Come on, Geralt. But yeah, we know Nivellen can't die. He told us.
Yeah.
So. Oh.
Bit of odd.
Mm-hmm.
Can't help myself if you run. He's wrong.
Oh. Really making good use of those signs. And there we go. But Broxa shows its true form. Interesting with, the addition of Ciri into the story now.
Geralt!
Fucking vampires. Damn, he's good.
Geralt, wait, please.
Get away from it.
Leave us alone.
Damn, Nivellen. Fuck.
I love you. He'll come for you too.
Hey.
Something about blood and love, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You're free now.
This is what you call free. She didn't care what I looked like, and to ease her cravings, I let her feed on me. But
She couldn't control herself. She was a monster.
She killed innocent people.
no,
She loved you.
Love and blood.
to lose true love. That's what it is.
It's weird seeing him without a beard.
Yeah.
Because she didn't care that I was cursed all those years ago. Not for destroying the temple, for raping the priestess.
Unforgivable act. There really are no happy endings in this fucking world.
Use your sword. End this. For me.
You're mortal now.
Do it yourself.
Do it yourself.
He really acted his ass off in this episode. Oh dear, Christopher.
When I say run, you run.
Fucking run.
When I say hide, you hide. And when I say get to work,
I know. Everywhere I go, people die. Sometimes I feel like I could burn the whole world. It just makes me so afraid.
fear is an illness. If you catch it and you leave it untreated, it can consume you.
How do you treat it?
You face it. I won't let anything happen to you.
Enough! To your feet!
You're leading them to a salvation that doesn't exist. I wonder how long before they turn on you.
What the shit?
Oh,
What are we encountering here?
elves? Maybe?
I don't think...
Oh, those are very big for elves.
Are they gonna end the episode here?
Yeah.
Had to end it on a fucking cliffhanger.
Of course.
Alright.
That's how you reel people in, right?
It is. Now I really want to watch episode 2. So, mission accomplished. But that was season 2, episode 1, A Grain of Truth. A story that both of us kind of knew beforehand, even though, of course, when you're doing an adaptation, there's gonna be some things that are different. And one thing that was very different from this version of the story to the story that we read in the books is the addition of Ciri into the story, because Ciri is not there in the short story. Grain of Truth.
But I think it works in a sense.
Oh, I think it worked quite well.
Like at this point in the series, like where they kind of weaved it into the story, I think that it works, and it didn't take a lot away from. I wouldn't say it took a lot away from the story.
No,
it changed some points, like some minor points, and changed some nuances. And you can talk about, it's like a personal opinion whether you think that's like it's taken away from the points or it's actually adding to. It's yeah.
They have the strengths and weaknesses, the mediums of like books and then the visual medium. Like some things you can do in a book you can't do on television, and vice versa. But I really like this first episode, and I hope it's not sort of a trick, because I think one of the best episodes of season 1 was the first episode, and that one as well, if I'm not mistaken. I remember thinking that at least. And so and then some of the other episodes didn't really hold up as well, so I don't hope that's going to be the same thing with this season. It's going to start off really strong and then it's going to dip a little bit, but
it's almost like as if the short stories are actually in my opinion better, like adapted better than the actual saga so far, because there are definitely like things that are very on the nose and very like almost one-to-one adaptation, but there are definitely also some they're taking some liberties, yes. Liberties, and I don't want to go into detail.
No. As we've said, we're not going to go into what's going to happen or anything like that. But we're going to at least comment on what we saw in this episode related to what happened in that first season. And Geralt finding Ciri, they're on their way to Kaer Morhen. We heard a little bit about it, and I guess we should also now comment on the fact that, and we mentioned it, we watched Nightmare of the Wolf.
And we watched it. Let's just leave it at that.
We watched it, and it showed us something that Geralt referenced in this episode, and something that we also knew of beforehand. Something that happened, something tragic, at Kaer Morhen. But I'm looking forward to seeing it when they actually get there. And then I thought it fit in quite well, throwing in this short story and adding it here inside of the bigger story inside of the saga while they're on their way to Kaer Morhen, because something can of course happen along the way, and it would make sense for there to be some sort of exciting, or well, in this case really tragic incident on the way there.
Yeah,
So,
and that's the thing, because they have adapted almost all of the short stories now, with exception of
a bunch of them, yeah.
With exception of very few, I would say.
Mm.
At least a lot of the, I don't know, like the ones that I remember best.
Yeah,
has definitely they have adapted those,
mm.
and I think the way that they the way that they weave this into the story, it fits very well.
It fits very well, and there are some great, they had some great conversations inside of this one that really speaks to like the themes of the world of The Witcher, with monsters and humans, and who are the real monsters here. And there's a good line in there by Nivellen with "humans kill everything." Oh wait, was that Nivellen who said that?
Wasn't it?
And we did say the first name of the guy who played Nivellen, who also played Tormund Giantsbane in Game of Thrones. Didn't remember his last name, but it's Christopher Hivju. It's Norwegian, and we should maybe be able to pronounce it because we're from Denmark, or I don't know if we should, but we should have an easier time of it than other people around the world, perhaps. But still, he did a really good job inside of this episode, I think, at least. And he's really good at, I love his voice. He's good at delivering these lines and making it quite believable inside of this world as well.
Great effects as well. It matched his face very well. They were very good at
exactly, because there's some things inside of the first season, effects wise and especially CGI wise, that sometimes was a bit like, I'm not sure that doesn't look that good. But it did in this episode. Both him and the Bruxa, I think, it was done quite well and quite effective as well, and quite scary, really. But it's also supposed to be that way. And now that it's been almost 2 years since we saw the first season, I have to admit, I forgot how R-rated and how bloody it can get. But it makes sense, because it is a very dangerous world, this one, and very, very, say this word again, tragic. And the notion of curses also it comes up a lot. I like how they talked about it in this one, and how monsters are born. And
I just wanted to add to the whole effect thing.
Oh yeah.
The eyes, they have some things with the lenses,
mm-hmm.
And I also think they've definitely gotten better at it. But I still think the eyes are it's a little bit hit and miss. Sometimes series lenses that just make her look weird, and the same with sometimes it's a bit too much with Geralt's eyes. But it's supposed to look unnatural.
It certainly does.
It's supposed to look freaky as all hell, because when people look at him, they are like, "Ooh, one has scary eyes."
Yeah, the fuck is up with you? Get away from me.
Yeah, and so that kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I also saw you mentioned it, that they actually turned her eyes more green. Mm-hmm. And I want to applaud them for at least trying to make them more green, because that's one of her big trademarks. No,
defining features.
Defining features, yeah. It's her emerald green eyes.
Yeah.
And it's really important.
Yeah.
So it's very nice that they actually added a little bit of that green into her eyes in a way that didn't look like in the last season. It was not good at all. They made Yennefer's eyes work quite well, so I think it's probably some of the same techniques they've used on Ciri this time around.
I can imagine it's a hard balance.
I'm not saying it's.
Right
I'm not saying. I'm not sitting here and saying I could do it better or anything like that. I'm just
exactly, because it is striking features, and they are supposed to stand out, but you also want to when you're seeing it visually represented on screen, you don't want it to look just too odd or something that's going to take you out of the experience, which maybe it does a little bit sometimes. So that's just, as I said, a very hard balance to strike right there. It's just between how emerald green are we going to make the eyes, or is it going to look too unnatural? Do we have to, pull it back a little bit just so, I don't know. Yeah.
But is that the way I read it when I read the book? It's like her eyes are so green, it's like borderline unnatural.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, defining features, and I think they've done a great job of like trying to at least make it work or look better than the last season.
Yeah. But hey, you mentioned Yennefer. We had like the majority of the episode was, of course, focused on the Grain of Truth story, the short story, with the addition of Ciri now. And with Yennefer, it was, well, I should say first we got to check in on like the Brotherhood first, and what they've been doing after the big battle.
Straight after the battle. Cleaning up, yeah.
Exactly. And trying to, tend to their wounds and their wounded. Triss, for example, got burned, as we saw, and not doing real good right now. We got Vilgefortz, who is kind of war hungry, which we also learned in the last season, and there's definitely something up with that guy. We're not going to go into details or anything, but we saw what he did at the end of the last episode, and he killed one of his own. And he's we'll keep an eye on him. And then we had a torture scene.
Yeah, and now comes the part that I really don't like, because everything that has to do with Kaer, because Kaer is one of my absolute favorite characters from the books.
Yeah.
And I can't really tell you why, because of spoilers and everything, but there's a reason why he's one of my favorites.
Yeah, very intriguing character.
And at this point, they have done his character so dirty. Like, there are so many other things like we can applaud, so I'm not going to go into detail about Kaer, but I just wanted to say that everything that has to do with Kaer, I'm completely, if I look stern and disinterested, simply because they did him dirty. So
yeah, and if it's one of your favorite characters, that's never easy
that's
to
the
see.
thing. And when you compare these kind of media, I can see what they're doing with some of the other characters, and I can appreciate the way that they are painting them in a
different light.
And like I can appreciate and see for what it is, but just like with Kaer,
right now it's not clicking for you at all.
And I'm not sure it's ever gonna click for me.
Okay, yeah, we'll see what's in store. When it comes to his story in the future. But
by the way, if people disagree, it's totally fine.
Of course.
It's just my opinion.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to just explain.
Yes.
You're very much allowed to like him or like his character or find him intriguing or whatever. Please do, but...
Oh, yeah. That's only a good thing. Like, it's the best scenario is if everyone is just enjoying the shit out of the series, and we really hope you guys are, and we are as well, but can sometimes be a bit more critical because
it's my favorite books. Like you cannot like it's how much you're trying to not compare. You can never not compare between source material and not, and you can appreciate for what it is, and you cannot. Like,
I felt the same about like A Song of Ice and Fire. That's some of my favorite books. Towards the end of Game of Thrones. They did some of those characters dirty in my mind as well.
The whole Dawn thing. I know that like the whole world raged about the whole Dawn thing.
Or at least the book reading world raged against that. And I was really one of my absolute favorite characters inside of the books is Barristan Selmy, and I think they really did him dirty in the series. And don't even fucking get me started. So yeah, there's always that, but overall,
and I'm really trying to tone it down, and I'm really trying to appreciate what they're doing, and just know that I'm really trying to not get too nitpicky. So
yeah,
I'm really trying.
But as I was about to say, I do think they did a good job with this first episode. It was a good first episode of this second season. We briefly touched on Yennefer. She is with the Nilfgaardians. Oh well, it seems like all the Nilfgaardians died. She's with Fringilla now, surrounded by something or someone. killed all of them. You guessed elves, but this is
I
a
don't
story
know.
that we don't really know where it's going because it's quite original. This part of the story, right?
Yeah,
With
I think
Yennefer?
they definitely expanded on that, and that's some of the liberties. So interesting to see
Yeah.
where they're going with this. But since like I don't know, just like it was in the forest, and I couldn't help but think of like forest elves.
Scoia'tael.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how to pronounce it properly. I've noticed that some of the pronunciations are not the way I would have
No, and
pronounced it.
not the way they
So-
pronounce it in the games either.
Or
But
like
it's
it's and I tried to look up a lot of stuff like how would like Polish people, how would they
pronounce it.
pronounce some of the things like all in like the old like central European roots. What would be the most likely way to pronounce things? And I'm a little bit confused.
It's fine. It's fine. Like however you pronounce it, it doesn't necessarily matter that much. But do you have anything else you want to add to the discussion?
We didn't really talk much about like the whole Nivellen and
Oh, yeah.
the good and bad things because like that was the main theme of this. If you haven't caught up already, Sapkowski, I think that's how you pronounce it. He wrote a lot of like fairy tales, like how he just like took a classical fairy tale and then just kind of like
incorporated it into.
No, he kind of like took it and then just turned it upside down.
Yeah, incorporated it into, but in his own way, and
yeah. So he put a different spin on it, and, and this, of course, was Beauty and the Beast, because we have the Beast, and in the Disney version, at least, it's about a guy who's like so ugly inside and so infatuated with himself and so entitled and everything. He turns away someone he thinks is ugly and beneath him, and then he's cursed because he only loves himself, and the only time his curse is going to break or lift is by loving someone else and having them love him back, you know. And this is a little bit different because yes, he was ugly, he did really, really nasty stuff. Nivellen.
Really unforgivable, as he said towards the end. Didn't just burn down a temple or anything. Like he raped those priestesses.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he did unspeakable things. He was an unlovable being. And his punishment, when his curse was to lift, he was cursed with like the ugliness or like beastie exterior. Basically sent to a punishment where nobody would love him.
Yeah.
And the ultimate punishment was to pay the price of true love being taken away from him.
Yes, if the unlikely thing should happen and someone or something should fall in love with you, or love you at least, then your curse can only be lifted when that someone dies. Blood and love.
Blood and love, yeah. And again, they were talking about like monsters and what makes a monster, and I think this whole thing with the Broxa, where it's like she's compelled to do all of these things, but
she doesn't want to necessarily.
No, it's like, and then it's like, is she actually a monster? Because she was treating Ciri nicely, right? And as she said, like when Ciri was about to run, she was like, "Please don't run because I can't stop myself if you run."
Yes, and I don't wanna hurt you.
Yeah, so it's like that thing that some people have something very bad, like innately bad within us, and then they also have nice sides, you know, like
it's like it's very, very much human qualities that we see inside of these fairy tales, inside of these fantasy stories with monsters and magic and whatnot, and used to great effect in storytelling. But I think that's gonna do it for this discussion. Yeah, we're as I said up top when we started the video, we're gonna do our best to squeeze in an episode here and there when we have time, and I'm gonna do my best to edit them and get them out for you guys. But it's gonna be a bit
Christmas
difficult.
time in about a week. Or
yes,
so.
Exactly, and we're gonna be with family and celebrating Christmas, celebrating the holidays. So that time I'm not gonna do work. I do also want just a little bit of vacation. So schedule wise, it'll come out when they come out. But I'll do my best, at least. We'll do our best. And we are excited about watching the next episode and watching the entire season. I can't wait for them to get to Kaer Morhen. Can't wait to see Vesemir, played by Kim Bodnia. Amazing Danish actor, and we're looking so much forward to seeing in that role. I know a lot of people wanted Mark Hamill to play Vesemir, but I'm really excited about it being Kim Bodnia. He is an amazing actor. Now I said it twice. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching as always, and we'll see you as soon as possible. Bye.
Bye.